Hello and welcome to Chrysalis Invictus. This is a message from, or messages from Dragon. And this reading was inspired by my daughter actually, so I had her choose two decks for me, one tarot, one oracle. And then I went about discovering a spread that would work for the decks that she chose. And this is what I came up with. So I want to start this reading by just bringing all of our energy back home. So coming into the center of your body, between your heart and your hips. So that space in the center, and feel a light brighten, the energy of that light growing brighter and brighter with every breath. We're just allowing it to grow brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And feel that light radiate out from your body as it travels up through the arms and out the fingertips and down through the legs and out the toes. Wherever you are, however you're seated or lying down, just allowing this energy of light to radiate out from you. And now that we are coming in, see that light energy push everything out the window. Anything unwanted out from the space. As if you are suspended in the center of your own light. And if you closed your eyes, softening your gaze and opening the eyes, or maybe you keep them closed, whatever works for you. I'm going to start with the general reading, and then I will get into the piles. So all of the information is down in the description. I've been doing these readings differently, where there's longer introductions, there's different moving parts, and if a certain part is not for you, if this reading isn't for you right now, maybe it's for you later, or maybe it's not for you at all. So just using your discernment, we're co-creating this together. Deep breath in through the nose. And out the soles of your feet. All right, and I've decided that today I'm going to do the poetry would be like pile number 5, so it'll be at the end of the reading. But I will tell you now that it is Margaret Atwood. It's from this book called The Circle Game, and it's the poem The City Planners. So I will link that down below if I can. It's probably still under copyright, but I'll link to Margaret Atwood, and maybe you can find a copy of this poem somewhere. But I will read it for you at the end, okay? So this reading is Messages from Dragon, Treasures and Protection. And for the collective, we received the so it's the Archangel Gabriel's dragon. I don't know anything about angels, but I do know that this is a card of clarity, joy, and hope. And what I was really getting from this, and so let me just pull that closer for you. My tripod makes things jiggle. I'll work on it. This is what I have. Okay. So Yeah, I was getting this feeling of like heart lifting. I've got the selenite wand here. It's like this is a time when, and if you know me, you know I'm very earthy and I like earth healing and really grounded modalities, but this is definitely an indication that crystal bowls, the idea of ascension and energy healing and a selenite cleanse is really beneficial at this time. So if you're like me and you prefer earthy and you don't like to attach yourself to stars and float around in the atmosphere, it is wise to kind of explore those things if they're brought to your door. If you're comfortable in that space and you know this energy, then you should feel pretty welcome at this time. It's important to forgive, love, and respect ourselves. So, and this is, it's really interesting because it's this feeling of like internal, it's a validation that we can affirm ourselves. Like no one else is going to give us the proper validation for this feeling. Like you are the one to give that to yourself at this time. So it's really beautiful self delving into self-examination, self-discipline. One of the messages I'm getting about this as well is that, tell me down below if you experience this, but if I have been not doing so well and then, you know, kind of rise up above that energy, I find that people around me start to go into crisis or need more support, need more energy, or I start to attract people who either need or feed. And with that being said, it's sort of like it doesn't bother or faze me. Like it's like, yes, it feels good. It's almost like being replenished to the point where you can nurture. And so you are glad to have the capacity for others. And getting into the tarot cards, I think, will illuminate this a little bit more. But essentially, right now, light is your protection. And this makes me think of in my yoga classes, I used to close them with this. I say used to because I don't teach at the moment, but this energy of gratitude. And it's very similar to the way that I led the meditation at the beginning here, where and you allow this light to expand out from yourself and you draw the light outward, and then you see that anything that is pulled away, that space is immediately filled, that there's endless energy. Sorry, I'll just sneeze. All right. I just had a sneezing fit. My apologies for... I'm just getting back into this video creation and I feel very rusty, but I really feel inspired and there's all of these readings coming, and so it feels like... Anyway, this isn't about me. So, let's get into your gifts. So, your treasures. So, if you think about dragon, traditionally in lore, they are guarding a hoard or a treasure, and your treasure or the overall treasure for all of us is the devil. And I love that this is the treasure because it tells me that the collective who is viewing this video are people who have really seen some things and know some things and are not afraid of the nitty gritty, are not afraid of looking fear in the face, or it's a weird thing to say, not afraid of to look fear in the face, but maybe it's not about not being afraid, but it's more about embracing that fear or being curious about that fear. And more than that, I feel like this is about, knowing what it is to be entangled or bound or subject to some kind of contract or, it's like, what do I want to say? Like contract with the devil, I guess, or being stuck. Addictions and things like that can feel that way, but there's lots of things that can feel that way, and you will know what it is for you. Suffering in some way, but you can you can see the dark spaces, and it doesn't stop there. Like it doesn't end there. It's like your treasure is our treasure is to be able to unbind ourselves, but also to look our fear in the face. So that's what I'm getting there. And then the protection, interestingly enough, is also there's a duality here, I feel, with the sun and the moon, and then the Two of Wands. And for some of us, this is having one foot out the door, having a plan B. I think a lot of it has to do with planning and having this perception that planning is or will be the way out or through some of these dark spaces. And I think there's a calling here to question what would happen if you didn't have a plan B, or what would happen if you changed your relationship. If you're someone who doesn't ever have a plan, maybe it's time to look at having one, or vice versa. I think that there's this question of, is the plan or the backup plan or the lack of a plan somehow related to your relationship with this darker energy, like a fear that it'll get you back or it'll pull you back in. And I think since the devil is your gift, it's almost saying like, you don't need to prepare for everything, or if you don't ever prepare for anything, it's okay to prepare. Like this almost gives me that idea of like superstitions that we have about those sorts of things. So kind of like moving beyond those. And like, let's get into the piles. So I have for pile number 1 a fire agate. So this here, it's not an actual stone, so I'm not going to lift it because it will destroy all of the piles. For pile number 2 here, what is that? It's a blue, no, it's a moonstone. So pile number 2 is moonstone. Pile number 3, we have golden calcite. And for pile number 4, we have clear quartz. So just making your way to whichever pile feels right for you. If you're having trouble deciding, maybe none of them are for you, or if you hear more than one number. So there's all kinds of things I want to say to people. Like, I feel like I should just make an overall, like, philosophy video about these sorts of things, but if you are drawn to, like, if I hear numbers in my head, so even when I'm scrolling on YouTube, if a video comes up and I hear 3, then I click on it and I go to number, like they're reading 3. But if you that's not your method and you have a different way, please let me know so that I can try to help facilitate that way of choosing for you, because I would love to, again, like I said, co-create with you. All right, let's get to your readings. All right, pile number 1, let's check out your readings. So you got the fire agates, and we'll leave that over here the for the end. So let's take a look at your dragon card first. And you have received air and fire dragon. Air and fire is, that's a really intense combination, especially since you received fire agate as well. There's a lot of combustible, explosive energy here. And it says, expand your creative energies, harness your creativity, excitement, and enthusiasm, communicate your passion. Yeah, I think that there is a way in which, and maybe I should pull the tarot cards first, but I do feel like this kind of energy is often misunderstood, and those who communicate passionately are those who communicate injustice or who are elected. If you know systems, like a little bit about systems theory, it's like the people that are elected to be the ones who push back, or the ones who speak up, or they sort of are used as a shield. This may resonate with you, but used as a shield for maybe quieter people or meeker folks, or because no one else is seemingly willing to say anything. These people tend to speak up. So if you feel like that resonates with you, this may be that it doesn't resonate with you, but this energy is coming in from the dragon. So it's bringing you the ability to speak your truth, but also, what does that even mean? Speak your truth. Be careful when you feel like your truth is too true, or is the only truth, is the only thing I will say there. But don't be afraid to allow what you are passionate about to spill out of your mouth. Like, talk about it. It's okay to talk about it. And if someone's bored by it, that's their problem, Okay, let's see what your gift is. So we have the 7 of Swords. Ooh, okay. This is really cool. All right, yeah. So, like, without I don't know how YouTube works. I don't want to censor myself. I'm going to just say it. You have a bullshit radar or meter, whatever, and it's strong. And this is something that can be very problematic to those who benefit from keeping things hidden or from being secretive. I think this can also hurt you sometimes, because your what you are seeing, what you are perceiving, and what you are able to hear from other people's mouths is not what other people are hearing. So just know that this is a gift for you to be able, this also gives you the gift of manipulation. So this is an interesting gift. because we often think of manipulation as like in the negative aspect. But there is a way in which manipulation can be used for the good. And I think this is really interesting that the overall energy for everyone was the devil. And then we have here the serpent again. So, this idea that with more knowledge, perhaps in the past you use this gift in the wrong way, or you felt like you used it in self-interest, or you used it when it wasn't needed, or something like that. I don't really feel like it's a gift for lying necessarily, although if you have a nuanced perspective on lying, it could be related to that as well. But it's more like knowing how to get what you want out of people, but now, like, where it's a gift is when you use it to get the best out of people. So, for instance, like some of the people that are considered gurus or coaches and things like that, a lot of that is really truly manipulative speak, but it is framed in a positive way because it is creating positive ripples throughout someone's life. So it can be a really beautiful thing. And then your protection is the star. Okay. Yeah. So for some of you, this could be like notoriety, or like being popular, or being noticed, or being praised. If you have some kind of profession or hobby that puts you in the limelight, I feel like there there is a lot of, this is almost, so this isn't going to resonate for everyone, but this is almost like diva, or being considered that kind of energy, or like the star of the show, the center of attention. Maybe you're the funniest person in the room, kind of thing. I'm really getting two distinct kind of energies here. I'm getting that there are people who are sort of the opposite of this air and fire, who are calling in this dragon energy, and the dragon is here to kind of bring more of this in and remind you of these gifts. So, like, maybe you have these gifts, but you are more on the quiet side. And then I'm getting, so really what I'm getting is like Leo and Aquarius. If that means anything to you, like Leo and Aquarius dynamic, wherein, you know, one is sort of the center of attention and the other is sort of the center of the universe, in the sense that they have a mindset for all, which is an interesting perspective on, you know, like, look into that a little bit more if you want to, you know, the opposites of Aquarius and Leo. But I really feel like with this protection, something that may we may need to be reminded of when it comes to this kind of protection is how much it may rely on the collective, or on others, or on groups. And that can, you know, if the group goes against, if the group is trying to protect, let's say, a lie, or if the group is culty in any way, then you are going to be calling that out. And then your protection here, which is beautiful in itself, it can lead to troubles, because then you're out of favor with the collective. And so you may have experienced periods of time where you fell out of favor with different groups, or had to leave jobs, or had to leave different experiences because you were not participating in groupthink. I also feel here that this is that beautiful white light protective energy, so calling in that light and pushing light out is going to be much better for you than like, so expansive. Expansive is better than inexpansive. No. What's the opposite of like inward? That doesn't feel like the opposite. I feel like there needs to be an opposite for that. Leave it down in the comments if you know it. If you know a good opposite for expansive. But this, you know, if you're wanting to protect yourself rather than creating a shell, for instance, or rather than creating like a protective fortress at this time, I really feel like it behooves you. Who uses that word? What's going on? To pull in light energy and push it out from your body and have that create the protection for you. And let's see the final message from Fire Agate. So creativity. Okay, and this is what I haven't touched on here. There's so much creative energy here. I think that's so interesting that I kind of felt like it went without saying. Which I feel like I would need to pull more cards to get into that. But if there are, I'll keep that in mind and try and make another reading for that. Creativity. I allow the creativity of my soul to shine through into my world. Okay, so this kind of pulls it in a sense that we are this protection, this star energy, and even this manipulation energy, using this to persuade large groups of people to do what is best for themselves, or to stand in a leadership position creatively, or holding a space very creatively. I feel like this pertains to people who have influence, for sure. Like you have or will be coming into influence, and the dragon is going to be a great ally for that creativity and influence. Expand your creative energies. Creative energy. So I want to say energetically, so if I'm tuning into the chakras, so creative energy comes from the sacral chakra. So it's the orange chakra, it's the second, so you've got your root. So this implies that you've sort of come to a place where you've stabilized your root. And if you haven't, then you will have to in order to tap into this energy. And this here is crown chakra energy. So we have this connection between the crown chakra and the crown chakra and the sacral. Okay, in the Celtic chakra spiral, and I will try to remember to leave a link in the description below. The crown feeds the sacral. The sacral feeds the crown, which feeds the root. Yeah. So the sacral feeds the crown, which feeds the root. So this energy goes from creative to divine to collective, and then it comes down into the root. So there's this, I believe, that's the way I'm seeing it. Let's imagine that that's true. So the way that this energy is churning or building is something that needs, this creative energy needs to go to the collective for you. This is a message from Dragon for you. Thank you so much for joining. All the love. Pile number 2, welcome. Thank you for joining. So you have the Moonstone. We're going to set that aside and take a look first at your dragon card. Okay, so you have the Black Dragon from Saturn. Brings you wisdom through spiritual discipline. Ooh. Concentrate, focus on your ultimate vision. Congratulate yourself, you have passed a test. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So some of you may have just come out of your Saturn return, or this was an energy that will guide you out of your Saturn return or beyond that. I feel like this means too that in this period of time when you are learning spiritual discipline, a lot of it has to do with boundaries and the absorption of energies, especially if you're expanding, especially if you are finding yourself engaging with more people who have a draining kind of influence. It feels like you'll get drained even faster, and I feel like the danger here is isolating too much to compensate, but then there's a loneliness to it. But let's look at your cards first to see what is your gift. So you've got the Three of Wands. This feels like close-knit energy. It's almost like you have a community or you have a vision. You have something that is already built for you that's behind you that you can return to. It's like you created your future in your past and you will return to it. So for some of you, if you're wondering, it's almost like if you've moved to another city or like a different kind of life. You know, I think of people who move from like maybe the country to the city when they're younger, that kind of return, what every Hallmark movie is about. A sort of return to that life feels but you also, the other part of this gift is that you don't have to return to it to access the energy or the power of it. It's like you've really built a strong foundation in your youth to guide you through the darkest times and the hardest hours. And there's this sense of like, however you engaged with people at that time, that's what's being echoed here. Like in that, what I was saying about the social aspect of things, like that there are people that we connect with because we have similar interests, or we're in similar fields in work, or there's different reasons. But when you're a child, there's something different about the way that sometimes it's convenience, but there's also a discernment that we have as children that involves like, you can have a friend that's completely opposite to you, but you feel peaceful with them. And it's those people that it doesn't feel like energy to be around them. It doesn't feel draining. There's also a strength that you have in building boundaries. Definitely in building boundaries here. And I think that has brought you into contact with the devil, but has not. Your kind of energy is something that like always amazes me. I think the people who are knowing and accepting of darkness without really fully getting pulled into it, like and it doesn't, without sacrificing an ounce of compassion or empathy or anything. Like, it's like, you don't have to learn the hard way, but you are still attracted to people who do. Where typically, like attracts like, but you attract who you attract. And there's a fascination. And they all sort of kind of gather around you in different patterns and things like that. And you can see those patterns, but you are not of those patterns. You have something very strong inside of you. Very, very strong. Okay, let's see what the protection is. Justice. Okay. Okay. May no one ever get in an argument with you. There's, okay. I have a friend like this, and I feel like, or very like this would fit. So this is a very strong, strong sense of ethics, a strong sense of the law, for lack of a better way to phrase it, but like the law of, I've got so much of this is coming out as social, but the law of social gravity is what I'm getting. Like your protection is your ability to think, your ability to discern, your ability to fight back, your ability to know exactly what to, I don't want to say exactly what to say necessarily, but like, there's a very strong analytical bent to this, but at the same time, it feels like you do argue with yourself over the validity of your feelings versus your thoughts, or the kindness and strength. I'm getting like there's like a kindness and strength. Like it's almost like your strength has been perceived, or your strength has been perceived as bitterness, or if not bitterness, like dryness, coldness. Kindness is perceived like wrongly. It's like because you're in this, and then you're in this battle with yourself, though with this strong gift here, there's still a strong sense of self, right? So that's what I feel like people bounce up against that, and they don't know how to handle that. They don't know how to handle a strong sense of self. This reminds me, okay. It reminds me of my daughter too. Like, so this can work against you as well. I think this works against yourself. So let's forget other people and talk about, your protection. To harness the best and benefits of this justice energy is to stay true to your ethics, obviously. I feel like maybe, okay, so you can tell me if this resonates, but like sometimes people want you to be demure or pretend that you aren't sure. And I feel like you don't give that to people, or like there's a certain sect of people that may have a similar trait to you. And so people are expecting you to behave like them, but you don't. And so, okay, but we're forgetting about other people. What's right and what's true, what's good and what's kind. These are all, yeah, I feel like your discipline is really something incredible. I think that people have something to learn from you. So Dragon wants to share with you It's about the bitter apple. It's like some people have acquired a taste for bitter apples, and those are the people you can take with you to this beautiful paradise that you have inside of you. If this is a creative, if this is your with the wands, if it's, a creative, like an art or a way that you creatively express yourself, it's like just affirming that, like, people are seeing this. Though some people may be out here in the dark, like thinking whatever they're thinking, who cares? There are people that are that are in here with you, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at this treasure trove. This person is so badass. They know exactly what's up. Their discipline is bar none." And even when you feel like it's not, like when you feel out of balance, just remember that your sense of balance is so finely tuned that when you are off kilter, you are still the most balanced one in the room. And I think ultimately, I don't know what else to say to you actually. Why are you even here? So, um, sorry. I hope you don't mind that joke. Okay, Moonstone cycles. I am in the divine flow of my soul rhythms and life cycles. Yeah, I really feel like that. I feel like maybe you went through a period of being like more off kilter than usual, or more unaligned with yourself, or more people pleasing or something, and wherever you are right now, you're in alignment. I feel like there's a bit of there's a part of me that wants you to like to say wants you to say wants to say that no one does Saturn better than you do. So the expectations that you have of people, it feels like it's like you're beyond your years, or you need to, people need to catch up to you. And this is hard because not everyone is capable. But you know that. You know that to be true. I think this is really cool. And I'm sending lots of love to you. I hope this was, I don't know, is it helpful? Let me know. Take care. All right, pile number 3 with the golden calcite. We'll put that there. And let's take a look at your dragon message. So you got the air dragon. Helps you to rise above earthly matters. Communicate honestly. Brings inspiration and hope. See life from a higher perspective. I'm thinking of drones, or, okay, drone footage can be dizzying, can be disorienting at times, to see things in a way that you haven't seen them before. And I feel like that may be an experience you're coming into, or an experience you may have with this dragon energy. And so you may experience, a lot of dizziness, a lot of feeling turned around. Things are not as you suppose them to be, and you may experience intense, I want to even say maybe during Mercury retrograde, you may have some really intense ones in the next little while, or you may have experienced that where people are talking and you don't understand. It's almost like they're speaking a different language. Or you may have experiences where you understand different languages that you've never studied. That's an interesting one. Tell me about that down below. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot cards. So your gift or your treasure. Ooh. The 8 of Swords. Okay. Self-preservation. self-preservation and preserving a kind of innocence. Like, you don't want to see something. You don't want to see something about your heart. You don't want to see something about your sexuality potentially, or you have, or you didn't want to, because this is a treasure. So it's like there's a treasure hidden in what you've stowed away, what you've made yourself not see, or something that you preserved to try to maintain that innocence. So in what you have learned from self-defeat, that's where the treasure is. It's like glorious beast is what I'm hearing. Glorious beast, like triumphant creature, like the shadow place that kept them haunted is now the illuminated space. Yeah, because you know, this is your treasure, as you know how to keep yourself down. You know how others do this as well. And you are fine tuned to seeing that energy. But the problem, I think, that comes with that is that you feel like, as you release the chains that you've bound yourself, let's say, you've blindfolded yourself and you've kept yourself in the state of innocence. But as you start to release those things, it can be dizzying. That's where the dizzy comes in. There's also this reflective, I feel like these have the same, it's like swirling energy. It's like, almost like your thoughts at some point, but now see they're organized. Your thoughts at some point were swirling like little vortexes or like vultures, and now they're organized. They're more organized. So or if they're not, this is a call to organize those thoughts, because your gift is there. Your gift is in how you've bound your heart or how you've concealed yourself. And then there's that release. And there may be a lot of conflicting thoughts about that, because I feel like when you've been in this energy, some of the people that surround you or situations that surround you depend on you being almost either self-deprecating or self-limiting. And so when you start to rise above that, it becomes the way that people treat you or the way that you interact with others may become unfreeing. I keep having this problem with like the word that I want to say and its opposite. I'm gonna have to deep dive that later. But all right, and then your protection is the temperance. Wow. Okay, these readings have been really crazy powerful in the cards that have been coming out. Like, look at this, the snake with the devil. Like, you've had a contract with self-doubt, even like for some of you, maybe self-hatred. And this is like purifying your thoughts. And then we've got temperance, which is like the divine balance coming in. So you've been very divinely protected, I feel. But more than that, I feel like you've been able to protect yourself with belief, faith, and hope. the guidance, I mean, look at, you're divinely, like, there is a part of you that is on, like, lucky and untouchable, okay? So you may have experienced a lot of luck. And if you're saying, you don't know my life, I've been through this, this, and this, I get it, okay? I get it. But are you still in those spaces? Were you able to get out? Have you, if you step out of one thing into another, is there just road ahead of you? Like the, it's like the universe is set up, the energies are set up. You have guides. I feel like for you, there's, for some of you, you may have someone who, like, a familial guide on the other side, or however you want to conceptualize that, that is, has your back, is watching you, is oh, I'm just getting something else. For some, this is also keeping yourself, withholding from others. So maybe being avoidant or something of that nature, avoidant of connection. This is, if you release yourself to the flow of this energy and allow yourself to be dizzy, this current will lead you where you need to go. That's the message from Dragon for you. This is the golden calcite, and it says, inspiration. I am inspired in all that I do. Inspired in all that I do. This is that inspiration energy. It's like, stay strong in your faith in whatever you believe in, that higher than you, but also know that whatever bound you is your treasure. All right, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for joining. Sending you so much love. Take care. All right, pile number 4. This is for you with the clear quartz. I love clear quartz. I've got, I think this is, it may not be clear quartz. Smoky quartz. It's the closest I could get. So I've got smoky quartz here. And let's take a look at your dragon card. So you have Earth and Air Dragon. Represents a perfect balance of heaven and earth. Stay balanced. Ground your visions. Manifest your hopes and dreams. Okay. This is something that I find easy to teach and talk about. Grounding your energy is particularly psychic energy, intuitive energy. This is all about taking your shoes off, connecting your feet quite literally to the earth. If you're feeling overwhelmed or afraid of good things coming in for you, as happens to us sometimes, if you're afraid of joy or happiness, to some extent, to take it to the trees or to lay on the ground, to breathe the energy up from the earth. And so even as you're sitting here, you may want to ground your feet and close your eyes and breathe up through the feet and just pull that energy up. And if you feel it's too hard to pull up and you feel like you need to Dig a little bit. It's about growing roots from each of your toes, growing down and going down, down, down into the earth, feeling nice and rooted, nice and secure. And this is a lot of safety energy that's coming in from the dragon. So this dragon energy provides you with a feeling of safety and security. Let's take a look at your tarot cards. So what is your treasure? Your treasure is the Ace of Wands. So this is a spark of divine inspiration. And this definitely connects earth and air. If you burn incense, this can help to ground you as well, as it's a connection, it's sending flame and earth energy, or fire and earth energy into, it creates air, it creates smoke. So I feel like there is something about you that is really magnetic and attractive. Your treasure is the way that you inspire others to create, the way you inspire connection, the way that you bring people together. There's something about you. People may easily fall in love with you or be attracted to you. You have a magnetism for sure. This could very well extend to sex magic and like that kind of energy. I'm noticing these cards have a little bit of a shimmer. Sorry. There is a, okay, so there's, yeah, I was just about to say that. There's a level of distraction to this. So it can be really easy, I think, with this treasure to become distracted with attraction, connection, those short-lived experiences that definitely the devil loves some of that energy. But here, we're trying to ground that and find a different kind of connection. I feel like for some of you, if there is this, if you have been in a situation where, and you've maybe had a lot of hookups or something like that, or are confused about that, just this is kind of reminding you that you take on the energy of these people and that you are inspirational. So a valuable question for you to ask yourself is not whether they like you, but whether you like them, for one. Or maybe someone thinks you're incredible and it feels nice. There's a lot of flattery there, but yeah, I think you attract flattery, and it's okay to enjoy that flattery, but if it is holding you hostage, just be aware of that. Like, if the inspired is inspiring you. Okay, let's see what your protection is. The world. Oh, only just the world. Okay. What's your protection? Just the whole world. Just, you know, the Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis? Aurora. No, I'm getting it confused with the, not confused, but like verbally. I'm having a really hard time with words today. Or with the confusion of words, which isn't normally, I don't know. Okay, so your protection is this cycle of endings and beginnings. So it feels to me like you are accustomed to starting over, beginning again, rebuilding, creating worlds. This is that divine inspiration. It's like you are creator of worlds. You are the beginning and the you have seen the beginning and the end, the beginning and the end. And there's this rebirth cycle that you are very accustomed to, it feels like at this point. All elements are represented here, so you're protected by a balance of energies. So you can access, you have the ability to access air, water, fire. This really feels like you've developed and honed a lot of skills, or this could be something that was innate in you. If you haven't developed these skills, it would be worthwhile to take a look at them. You know, like, what is my connection? If I have a weaker connection to my emotions, developing a strength there. If I have poor communication, developing a strength there. And so on. Energy and empathy often get mixed up. Like, being empathetic and being energetically influential or sensitive are two different things, though they may feel somewhat similar. And then this earthly energy, yeah, with the earth and air dragon here. Earth and air have an interesting relationship because it's almost hard to know what they have for each other. Like, if you think about the way that they interact, it's oppositional. There may be issues here with proportion and scale. We've all made mistakes. And maybe you've made them all. Or maybe you feel like you've made them all. But you are so protected. You are so protected in every sense of the word. And there is nothing that you cannot handle. And that strength makes you attractive, but it does make you a strange bird, right? It's like a bird that can't fly. At times, it may feel that way. Go to the garden 9 times on Sunday. I don't know what that means, but that's a message that I heard. All right, so the clear quartz, clarity. I have clarity in all aspects of my life. How can you have clarity in all aspects of your life? Honestly, this is like an unattainable ideal. And I feel like that directly contradicts this earth energy that's coming in. So if you're feeling like you jump from one thing to another, like almost like, I'm really focused on my body, now I'm really focused on energy, now I'm really focused on emotions, now I'm really focused on thinking or communication. I feel like the advice for you would be to find a way to harmonize those oppositions within yourself, to find that middle ground, and to also really honor this treasure. You have, like, this is no small treasure, right? Like, this is what everyone wants. And so this attracts people who want to feed. This attracts people who want to just breathe in the inspiration and take what they can get. Not even in a malicious way. It's like they don't even know they're doing it. But you have something, like, you are. I'm thinking of what is it called? The Olympic flame? That torch that's like continuously burning and that's passed on and that has this sacred kind of, you are the sacred instrument, okay? And therefore you need to be protected by everything. And anyone that is in your circle, or anyone who is wanting to be inspired, must also bring with them this energy of protection. So they also inspire. They help feed and fuel your thoughts, as well as providing protection for this. So they stand around you and guard you. And dragon is a guard as well. I would definitely call on dragon if that's something you were comfortable with or would do, as a kind of rooting. So with those roots that came out from your toes, almost like allow yourself to hide your flame in a dragon's cave. Maybe that's where you hide it. Visualize it. When someone comes along and you can feel that they're just trying to take from that divine light, hide it in the cave. They can't get it anymore, right? All right, this is, I think, all that I have for you. Sending you so much love. Take care. All right, and now for the poetry reading. So this is the City Planners by Margaret Atwood. I'm just trying to hold it down so you can see it here. Smoky quartz. All right. Cruising these residential Sunday streets in dry August sunlight. What offends us is the sanities. The houses in pedantic rows, the planted sanitary trees assert levelness of surface like a rebuke to the dent in our car door. No shouting here, or shatter of glass, nothing more abrupt than the rational whine of a power mower cutting a straight swath in the discouraged grass. But though the driveways neatly sidestep hysteria by being even, the roofs all display the same slant of avoidance to the hot sky. Certain things, the smell of spilled oil, a faint sickness lingering in the garages, a splash of paint on brick surprising as a bruise, a plastic hose poised in a vicious coil, even the too fixed stare of the wide windows give momentary access to the landscape behind or under the future cracks in the plaster. When the houses, capsized, will slide obliquely into the clay seas, gradual as glaciers, that right now nobody notices. That is where the city planners, with the insane faces of political conspirators, are scattered over unsurveyed territories concealed from each other, each in his own private blizzard. Guessing directions, they sketch transitory lines rigid as wooded borders on a wall in the white vanishing air, tracing the panic of suburb order in a bland madness of snows. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoy this reading or this chaos video. And let me know. Have a wonderful night. Take care.